This is the country around Lake Superior. It's a region that's always been sacred to the Ojibwe Indians. It's a land that's been well loved by many of Canada's greatest landscape painters, by wilderness writers, by poets, and especially by nature photographers. We've paddled Superior shoreline in summer and found some of its magical qualities, but yet in wintertime, Superior becomes completely different.
We've come here in winter. It's actually early March, and even though the storms are still blowing in off Lake Superior, the sun is climbing higher every day and the days are growing longer. And in these hills north of Sault Ste. Marie, the snow is soft and very deep, and the cross-country skiing is about as good as you're going to find anywhere. And it's here that we'd like you to meet a couple who've tied their lives to this Lake Superior country.
Mike and Carolyn O'Connor have chosen a lifestyle that, for many of us, can be only a dream. 10 years ago, they capitalized on their shared love of wilderness and the outdoors and became managers of a cross-country ski lodge.
This is the setting for their work, a few kilometers inland from the edge of Lake Superior. Winter literally sparkles here, among the ski trails that weave through hardwood hills. The lodge is about half an hour north of Sault Ste. Marie. For Mike and Carolyn, winter is an intensive 4-month season of looking after guests and managing a network of ski trails 7 days a week, from December into early April.
Mike was coming down to meet us in style.
Here he comes.
The lodge has a snow machine for greeting guests and hauling luggage, but using his dogs is Mike's much preferred way of doing things.
Hang in there, guys.
He also knows that people come to ski lodges to get away from traffic and noise. That's why the cars stay down in the parking lot. It's about a 5-minute ski from the lodge.
Skis, I guess we can ski up.
From here, day skiers and winter campers can begin their wilderness expeditions.
Hike up. Hike up. You look great in the daytime. Hike. You look much prettier in the daytime.
Well, how was your camping back there? Did you enjoy yourself?
Oh, yeah, it was wonderful. This really is a fine place you got here.
Glad you enjoyed us.
My
I
only
gotta get
regret-
this luggage up.
Mike and Carolyn divided up their skills and interests, with Mike concentrating on life and activities outside, and Carolyn applying her management abilities to the day-by-day running of the lodge.
So we've got a big group here next week, don't we?
Yes, we're filled up in the lodge and in the chalet rooms.
All right, how many, about 30,
About
35?
30.
Running a lodge has fine-tuned all of Carolyn's management skills. The bookkeeping, the menus, reservations, overseeing staff, they're all her responsibility. She consults daily with Nettie Rouse, her assistant, and they try to plan everything down to the last detail.
No children this time. We don't need any extra beds or anything like that.
Oh, terrific. I guess we're all set then.
Okay.
Great.
30 kilometers east of the lodge, the Algoma Central Railway stops its train for a few moments at the old station of Wabos and lets off cross-country skiers. They left Sault Ste. Marie early this morning, and they're about to begin a pioneer loppet, which means long trip in Norwegian. And that's just what it will be. An all-day ski to the lodge, along a route that was devised and laid out by Mike. In Carolyn's words, the journey will give them a chance to return to their pioneer roots along an untamed trail through some of the most beautiful country in North America.
Good morning.
It's a classic Canadian winter day, dry and very cold, with fresh powder snow. The kind of day that cross-country skiers dream of. Quiet wilderness trails like these are important to cross-country skiers who do not coexist easily with snowmobiles or crowded downhill resorts. One worry here is that some major winter sport developments are planned, and these trails and peaceful lakes could be affected.
Within a few hours, the snow conditions were changing under the brilliant March sun. Real satisfaction comes when you know you've chosen just the right wax. At the halfway mark on the trail, there was a welcoming rest stop and lunch waiting. Chili and fresh brewed coffee at Norm Bourgeois' cabin.
Get him a cup of coffee while you're at it. You don't
Norm came here and built his cabin in 1950, and he's become an important part of these Stokely trips. He's lived most of his life in the North Country, and he likes to tell skiers about the early days.
We found some big moose tracks.
Yeah, one in there.
Well, it's pretty good life here. When we started building it, it was just a little shack, and my brother and I and a few friends. In them days, we built it mostly for fishing and hunting, which in them days was just deer. There was no moose in the country then. After a while, the kids started to grow up and the grandchildren, so we had to put more space, more room as they grew up. And then they were bringing their friends up and stuff like that. And then we had to put the upstairs up and more kids with their friends and stuff on there. But the fishing and the hunting been pretty good all the way through. And then especially since Mike started all them ski jumpers around here, well, we have a picnic. And I like to meet all them people.
Ron, you got a lot of stuff hanging on the wall. Did I see a moose calling horn up there?
Yeah. There's a moose call up there. You want me to call for you?
Go ahead.
Yeah. I'll give you a call, and then I'll give you another expression of a call after. Now, when we call, we get on our knees close to the ground, depending on the wind too, or the territory you're in. And when you get down, it's make a better muffle, so he knows where the sound really comes from. So we get down on our knees, and you do that a couple of times, you know, on it. And then at last, if you happen to see one, then you just grunt, and then he comes right out in the open. You know, when you call him.
Then
Now,
what do you do?
The idea of creating a cross-country ski center here began with Chuck Peterson. He's a Michigan businessman who's been skiing the old lumber trails for more than 20 years. The quality of the landscape with its deep powder snow made his idea a reality. That's Peggy Johansson Austin, daughter of Jack Rabbit Johansson, the father of cross-country skiing in Canada. His legacy, a graceful sport that's one of the finest ways to achieve fitness in the long Canadian winter.
Mike and Carolyn O'Connor were married here at Stokely in 1979. That was a year the lodge opened, and they became its managers.
It's really changed over the years. When we first came on board in 1979, of course the business was much, much smaller. We had very few guests, so it was much more like a home, which Mike and I we enjoyed that type of atmosphere. We were basically inviting people into our home to enjoy what we have here, the wilderness and whatever we have to offer, stories, our feelings toward what where we live. But as the business has grown, we've had to pull away or separate. Where we used to do everything, as to greeting the guests, to cleaning up after the guests, we now, of course, have a division of jobs, and we've had to hire people. So basically all we've done is we love people, and what we've done is just opened up our hearts, basically, and our minds, and are trying to make the place comfortable, and as well offer an activity that they can get out and to see the country, to see where we live. And they're generally so ecstatic that they help create the ambiance in the sense that they're happy.
Mike told us that the kitchen is the heart and soul of any ski lodge, and the cross-country skiers are more concerned than most about fitness and good food. Well, if the kitchen is the soul of Stokely, then Phyllis Borella Leake is surely its presiding spirit.
This is stuffed pasta shells. It's Italian made at the lodge. And in this is, most people would think it's a hamburger or ground meat, but it isn't. It's eggplant and zucchini, spinach, a few cheeses. We use a lot of eggplant and fresh vegetables here in our dishes instead of meat. We do creative cooking, and we also do very nutritious, or as nutritious as possible. We also do our own maple syrup here too. And then we tap the trees right out here, and we do our own maple syrup, and we do our own jams and jellies. If we don't do them ourselves, we get them from the local people. Yeah, do our own breads and everything. Whatever's good for people, we do it.
Hike up now, hike up. Hike up. Hike up, come on, hike, 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 hike.
Mike O'Connor was born in the North, and his life is the outdoors. As an archaeologist and wilderness traveler, he was quickly captured by the mystery and magic of this Lake Superior country. Today, he's patrolling Stokely's ski trails with his beloved dog team.
Big break.
The dogs are his trademark. They're quick
Okay,
and
Winnie,
quiet,
come
and led by the 15-year-old Winston, who has a wide streak of independence.
Come on, Winnie, let's go. Hike, 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 hike. Come on. Come on. Come on, let's go. Hike, hike, hike. Come on, Chick. Come on, guys. Come on, Winnie, let's go. Come on. Come on, let's go. Hike, hike, hike. Come on, Chick. Hike up. Come on, hike, hike, hike. Come on, Goose. Goose, get out of there. Come on, hike, hike, hike. Good pups. Hike up.
Unit 3 to Stokely Base. Come in, please.
Stokely Base here.
Yeah, Nettie, just checking in. Has anybody reported anything on the trails over?
Yes, we have a report of a tree down across the Jackrabbit, just below number 24.
Okay, that's a roger. Is it a big tree, like blocking the trail on a downhill run over?
Yes, they say it's, if someone was coming the wrong way, it's on a downhill.
Okay, that's roger. I'll check into it. I'm fairly close to that now, so I'll deke over there. Thanks, Nettie.
Okay.
Unit 3 clear. Okay, pup. Let's go.
Come on, hike, hike. Come on, guys. Let's go.
Come on, Kick. Come on, Gray. Hike up.
Hike up. Let's go. Hike.
Get your leg over.
Okay, hike up.
And where does all the snow come from that piles up into deep drifts among these hills and valleys? From blinding storms like this that continually sweep across Lake Superior, changing and transforming the world into a wondrous, magical place. Snow and ice have managed to capture the real character of Superior, its rugged, wild, and yet delicate beauty. This cave was formed by early winter storms as waves smashed against the rock and then froze.
When you think of cross-country skiing, perhaps the icy expanse of Lake Superior does not come immediately to mind. But Mike led a small group of us on an unforgettable expedition, a guided tour to some of his special places.
Ha! Winnie, Hawk. Come on, Hawk.
This is wild nature at her best, a glittering display of abstract patterns and designs, a private gallery on the edge of a mighty lake, and a source of wonder for all of the skiers.
Mike, could you explain why those rock formations look as if the waves have just frozen in mid-flight? Or are they?
Yeah, I think that's probably from the fall storms here, like November storms. November, December, when the lake is still open. You get this tremendous gales off the lake, prevailing westerly winds. It just splashes. I've seen these trees right here covered with ice. The whole tree, like that 30-foot tree over there, would be completely encrusted
Beautiful.
in blue
tree.
ice. Yeah.
Beautiful.
So
But
it
it's in-
froze up last fall probably. There probably wasn't a lot of big storms here because I've seen that rock outcrop over there completely covered with ice.
Lunch was on the summit of one of Mike's favorite islands. This is a place he comes to by canoe in summertime to pick blueberries. When the summer weather has been just right, the bushes are loaded.
There's a tremendous crop of blueberries on it.
Are those big, huge, juicy blueberries that were in the blueberry muffins this morning? I've never seen such big blueberries.
Yeah. Well, these ones, they're excellent. The island's a little ecosystem in itself. And you go in the backside of the island where it's shaded and lots of pine trees. There's great big patches of fat blueberries.
Wonderful.
Do
You
they
can
have
feed
a lot
there all
of
day.
snakes here?
Hmm?
Do they have a lot of snakes here?
Yeah, in the blueberry patches.
Yeah,
Stay away
usually
from them.
they do.
There are few places on Lake Superior that are as spiritual or as sacred as Agawa Rock. It was here that the Ojibwe Indians left a record of their passing, messages to be interpreted and wondered at across the centuries. This was a real reason that Mike had brought us out here.
Mike has a degree in Native Studies and a profound sense of wonder for this place. On the tilting walls of Agawa Rock are records of canoe crossings, of mythical serpents, and the great panther or lynx, Mishabashu. Finger paintings in red ochre with powerful spiritual and historical meaning.
Rock art specialists, people who study them, have always been kind of wondering why these locations were picked out in particular to make these paintings. And I think my interpretation of it would be it's such a special spot. If you look around you here, there's just, it's a very powerful spot. And if you're going to pay respect to any kind of spirit or, to the country, I think this is a spot to do it. I think that's why Native people actually picked a location like this to put their rock paintings. And to me, it's a very powerful spot. Whenever I come up here, I'm always amazed by this beautiful country, and it makes me realize that these people that painted these rock paintings here must have had the same kind of appreciation for the country to show it as much respect.
It's not often during the busy winter season that Mike and Carolyn can take time out for a quiet afternoon ski and a little exploring with their boys, Patrick and Brendan. Summer is really their time together, the four of them camping and canoeing along the edge of Superior. The boys have grown up here in the woods and valleys around Stokely, spending their childhood years close to nature, their curiosity aroused by every bend in the trail and by every fresh track in the snow.
What do you think it is then?
I say it's a shark.
A shark?
It's these experiences, the memories of shared encounters, that will last them a lifetime.
basically we've chosen a lifestyle. It's very seasonal employment. It's definitely busier at one time of the year than another time of the year. And while we may not get to see our family as much as we might like in the winter, we have the other times of the year to play and to experience the wilderness. I mean, we chose to live up here amongst this beautiful country and to be stimulated by the people that we have come stay with us at the lodge. And there are always going to be pros and cons with whatever kind of employment you take on, but the pros here are just, far outweigh the bad points.
And there aren't too many bad points. No.
I love the area. I really do. When I first saw it, I came to this area about 15 years ago to do archaeology. My first glimpse of Lake Superior, you read about it in geography books and history books, and nobody can describe it to the fullest. There's been photographers like Bruce Littlejohn have captured the essence of it, and writers have been able to impart some of the feeling and what you're going to see, but nobody can really prepare you for what you're really going to see.